it is, I'm under the impression that everyone is dealing with some sort of mental disorder, some sort of mental chaos. Things are not all in a equanimous state in their mind. And some people are diagnosed with many different mental disorders. Many of them stem from anxiety and depression. And what I've noticed, many people come to me, I don't know why it is, but people come to me to talk about things, to get things off their chest. So apparently a therapist of some sort. And I found a commonality. And the common question I ask people now is, when was the last time you created something? And usually the depression has set in right at the moment where they stop taking on or working on whatever project it is. If we look at grandma, for example, you see grandma's happy. Every time you come over, grandma's knitting a quilt or something like that. And you're like, why is grandma living to 100 years old? Well, she's practicing her God faculty. If we were to try to succinctly describe what God is, maybe we can say God is a creator. And if ye are gods, as the Bible states, and we are many versions of God and his creations, then we are meant to create. So any human being that is not creating is not living up to their God potential. And that is going to create some sort of mental disorder in your mind. And you're not going to know why. But it's because you are not creating. We need to have these projects. We need to have something that we're working on, something that we love, something that we're passionate about, and do that daily. It has to happen daily. And like I said, the commonality I saw with people were they got away from that. Some people are artists, et cetera, et cetera. And I asked them, when was the last time you made some art? They're like, oh, it's been 2 weeks. Oh, there you go.
Envision a sanctuary where community and sustainability are the cornerstones of living. In this haven, every family is able to grow their own food, children flourish through homeschooling tailored to unlock their full potential, and education extends beyond textbooks, instilling self-worth and a deep understanding of the world around them. Here, goodwill isn't just an ideal, it's the essence of daily life, where respect for law and order harmonizes with the community's resourcefulness. This place isn't just a dream, it's a call to action for everyone who believes in a better, more connected way of living. Join us in building a future where each individual's contributions create a tapestry of enduring harmony and prosperity. Join us in Hotepistan.
2, 1, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Somebody said, what do you think you are, some kind of Hotep Jesus?
Ooh,
And
that's
I was
good.
Just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.
Good afternoon, Hotep Nation. Welcome to the Grift Report, live Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. I'm your host, the Grift God.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Oh, this is a real Hotep brother.
Hotep to the chat, Hotep to the Hotepistanis,
Hotep.
and Hotep to our special guest today, BX, not from the Bronx, is joining us for a special edition of the Grift Report. BX, welcome to the channel. How you feeling today?
Thanks. Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on. I guess we got kind of introduced casually via a Twitter tag, and here I am.
Yeah, last week I was talking about, okay, so I had Rolo on, and we were, oh yeah, that was Pearly Things went on Fresh and Fit, and Rolo didn't like that too much. So if you guys missed that, go listen to that episode. I believe that one was the end of the Manosphere. And during that episode, your name was brought up, I believe, by one of your supporters. And they said, I believe somebody said, hey, I should have her on. I was like, I checked out your tweet. And I was like, hell yeah. So without further ado, let's just hop right into that tweet, and I'm going to read it and stop me where you think I should stop. And if I feel like I'm just going to stop, I'm going to stop too. But let's take a look at this. So this is a tweet here you put out December 5th, 2023. And you said massive. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security paid nearly $700,000 to a counterterrorism NGO to intercept and divert Twitter traffic away from specific individuals in the Manosphere. Rational Mail, Cobra Tate, Fresh and Fit, among others, were specifically named as targets. Now I got to stop right there. Hotep Jesus' name wasn't in there, was it?
No, I don't think it was. No.
All right, let me know if you ever find my name in and stuff. Let me know. All right.
Will do.
Thank you. DHS TVTP. What the hell is TVTP?
The Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Program. It's a grant program funded by Congress that goes to NGOs related to counterterrorism.
Oh, so they've classified this as terrorism.
Yes, they have.
All right. The purpose of the grant was to design a native tool to be used on Twitter to effectively suppress individuals in the Manosphere by diverting their audiences away from their content towards counter-messaging content, websites, podcasts, creators curated by the McCain Institute to counter hate speech and misinformation. The U.S. government has named the Manosphere. Did they use the term Manosphere?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Very specifically. The McCain Institute did. Yeah. And they're listing their top 4 terror threats.
Okay. The U.S. government has named the Manosphere as one of the biggest terror threats facing the U.S. Now, we got to stop right there. Chat. Because right now, BX, there's this huge explosion of, crying about the AI being racist towards white people, and black people are hunting down white people, and DEI, right? And one thing I said was that, especially with DEI, DEI is not exactly an attack on white people. It's an attack on straight men, right? Straight conservative men, to be specific. So when I'm reading all of this, I'm reminded that, my theory that they are attacking, straight masculine conservative men, it's coming true. Like, this is literally what you're supporting my theory here with some real life evidence.
Yeah, that's more correct than some of I've seen a lot of people respond to this with like claims that the Matrix is after the Manosphere and this and that. But I think that's a bit off base. There's definitely layers to this agenda. There's obviously a more superficial layer where just, these we'll talk about in a bit, but this particular NGO has just got these like crazy feminist ladies who, just hate the Manosphere and want to censor them pretty much. And then you've got layers beneath that where you have, Congress people and lawmakers and other political agendists who are really pushing more of a broadening of the term terrorism to include more people than just what we formerly thought of as, ISIS, for example.
Okay. Now, you said that you don't agree that the Matrix is attacking men, or are you saying it's a little bit more specific than that?
I think it's more complex, more nuanced than that. Okay. Well, first of all, I was just kind of using that as because that's what people have said. I don't really know what, right. I still don't really understand what the Matrix is supposed to be according to the red pill. And it's funny I guess important to bring up that, like, I don't really have any kind of connection to the Manosphere at all. I've seen some of these characters around Twitter and, but I don't have any connection to that community. This just happened to be the place where I found a grant where there were very specific names being, referenced as like creators being referenced. To me, that was really a pivotal moment because I've been studying this Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Grant Program for a really long time. And I don't like it. It stinks. All of it does. It's very, very suspicious and very, very transparent in what they're trying to do. And so I've read a lot of these grants, but this one was the first time that I was able to actually blast it because it was so inflammatory. But yeah, this is a really, really extensive and sinister, in my opinion, program. And a sinister, just a waste of taxpayers' money. And there is definitely an agenda underlying it. And there's a lot of lies and false data. and I guess you could call like ops kind of that are going on to try to justify all of these studies and these targets. So yeah, we can get into the nitty-gritty of it later. But when I say matrix, I think I just mean like, yes, I think that in a way they are attacking, they're using white straight men in the manosphere to attack a much broader segment of society. And that segment, in this case, does appear to be the right wing in general.
So again, more theories that we have in the Hotep community where we see pushback, for lack of a better term, towards some of these concepts that come out of the manosphere. And we responded and said, look, these are paid agents, right? And, we didn't have any evidence. It just seemed obvious from our own common sense and from our own POV. And now here we have DHS is actually funding it. This is a real thing. They're saying, yo, we got a budget. If you want to fight these guys, we got a budget and we'll fund you. That's insane. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me hop back into this. The conflation of incels. Let me make sure they can see it on the screen well here. All right. The conflation of incels with the broader manosphere as a justification for targeted counterterrorism ops, which can include aggressive surveillance and censorship, is part of a disturbing trend. The ever-broadening definitions of terrorism and extremism put forth by the U.S. government poses a real threat to the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens. And I got to stop right here. I love the way you write. What is your background? Is it in writing? Is it in journalism? Or are you just a smart chick?
Well, actually, I work in the medical field as an auditor. So I do investigations in the medical field, but I'm also a licensed private investigator. So I've also done a lot of investigations, and I guess I'm good at writing things in a way that gives people the information they need.
Oh, interesting. Dope. So you're actually an investigator. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So you're not just some chick
in
online.
Several senses, I guess, of the word.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're not just some, cute chick online LARPing. This is what you do. Okay. I like it. She got some real credentials behind her, chat. All right, let's go to the next part. Even worse. The grant application and resulting reports suggest a large-scale collaboration of tech giants, NGOs, and U.S. government agencies to design and implement tools to counter hate and disinformation by diverting web traffic away from specific individuals and communities deemed harmful. What is harmful content, quote unquote, according to the U.S. government? White supremacy, anti-government views, foreign terror orgs, i.e. ISIS, and the Manosphere are the top 4 terror threats according to the McCain Institute. Who the hell is the McCain Institute? Is this Senator McCain?
Yeah, so it's a foundation that's located at the Arizona State University. The McCain Foundation and the lore around that's way beyond the scope of this, but like safe to say that it's got a lot of sketchy funding going in and out of it.
But this ain't from John McCain, is it?
Well, he's the namesake of the institute. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So it is associated with McCain.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. This is based around the McCain Foundation. So this is their kind of branch of, when we talk about this stuff, we can go into it, but it's something that I've called the terrorism industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably heard of the censorship industrial complex because of, the Twitter files and all of that. And it's all very much connected to the same kind of system or complex, right, of basically NGOs, non-government organizations, but are clearly government organizations, right, that are using American tax dollars in the form of grant funding to, conduct studies and surveil and monitor various segments of the population in America so that they can kind of study terrorism. So they're getting this grant money, and what they're doing is they're putting out all of these reports and results, and they're working with social media platforms to, actually, this is the machinery that censors you, right? They say, oh, you know what? We've done all these studies under the McCain Foundation, grant program for DHS, and we've determined that these guys are actually really dangerous to America. And we're using all of these, these various tools and counterterrorism resources to kind of group everybody into this bucket. And then after that, they go, you know what? Okay, we've got the justification now to kind of push out these tools, and what we're going to nudge social media platforms to implement these tools against hate speech. And we're going to, but to do that, they need to justify that you're terrorists first, right? So that they can actually justify doing it. But it's the mental gymnastics involved with trying to turn the manosphere into a terror threat is what really interested me about this situation, because it's silly. And it's extremely complex, because I have, the way that I found this was that I was researching the incel community. And I was researching it in the sense that it did not seem to be what they were making it out to be. I mean, I've been in that cesspool of a forum, which is just like, mentally well people don't just go hang out there. Okay. It's a very mentally unwell place to be. There's a lot of mass shooter glorification. There's a lot of grooming people to become terrorists and to become mass shooters. Very obvious. And so, when I found out that these incel studies were being driven by federal grant money, I definitely had to raise an eyebrow and be like, well, why are they even allowing this place to exist? Because the people in there who are grooming kids to go commit mass shootings, it's not incels. It's not the manosphere. Like, there's members of ISIS in there grooming kids to do stuff. I'm confused. So go ahead.
Who's getting their money?
Well, the NGOs, like the one that I'm talking about here in the Manosphere.
Incel NGO?
Yeah. Well, it's a counterterrorism NGO that's focused on incels as a terror threat.
Okay. But you're saying that the incels legitimately are like grooming terrorism?
No. The terrorists are grooming incels, right? So basically what you have here is that you have these real sinister bad actors, foreign and domestic terrorists, right? Yeah. Who look for vulnerable populations that they can, get to be, ISIS is just a convenient example. There's all kinds of different terrorists in there, but you can become a freedom fighter if you can't get laid. Then you can have all of these women once the West collapses, right? Like, you'll be able to force women to date you, right? So they're indoctrinating these people based on the fact that they're sexless, sad, mentally unwell people. And that's why they're targeted by terrorists to do these things. And to me, that's something that should be obvious to any counterterrorism NGO or anyone, right? It's pretty obvious. So what was curious to me was that these people were going and making these elaborate studies around how the manosphere is actually to blame, and they're not actually mentioning what's really going on in there, which is really what caused me to kind of raise an eyebrow and start looking into this a little bit more deeply.
Chat, if at any point during this discourse you have a question, a comment, or concern, go ahead and hit the super, send in a super, and I'll make sure that question gets to BX here. Okay, let's go back. I want to pull up this video that you sent me. Hold on, give me a second. Let me pull that video up. Like I said in the green room, you won't be able to hear it. It's about 45 seconds long. So I want to play this video for the chat, and then we'll discuss it after. The caption here is, this clip is from a presentation to U.S. Department of Homeland Security regarding a plan to implement a native tool on Twitter to hide tweets from Manosphere accounts and divert users to curated counter messaging accounts. They used Shadiah Knight as an example. Okay. Let's go to the clip, and I'm going to play it in 3, 2, 1.
The Diverting Hate tool is a Twitter user experience design. In theory, this design would be informed by our robust database and network analysis to flag tweets and content that lead to misogynistic spheres, where extreme beliefs and violence are encouraged. The tool acts natively within the Twitter platform to hide violative tweets and divert users to other, healthier options, whether it be positive influencers, supportive community groups, or mental health resources. Currently, Twitter identifies and quarantines violative tweets. We feel that this is not the most effective approach to disrupting radicalization. We see an opportunity to provide relevant and healthy alternative paths for resiliency. The Diverting Hate tool.
Wow. You know, the first thing that comes to mind is how come it's always a white woman behind all this shit?
Actually, you might be surprised to learn that, like, you know how I mentioned that there's layers, right?
Yeah.
Well, so surely, like, these women just really hate you. They hate the Manosphere, okay?
Okay.
And it's really obvious by watching them talk and, like, by reading their reports that they're just really, like, set on this idea that they're saving the world by censoring you guys, which is kind of silly.
Yeah.
But behind that team is a more senior person named Jason Blazakis, who's actually running for Congress in New Jersey this year. And that guy is very, very much focused on
what's his name?
Jason Blazakis, Blazakis.
BLA what?
Blazakis.
I don't like his last name. And he looks creepy too.
Yeah, so here I can send you the tweet on that too. But, you know, so this guy has actually gone on the record and said that so he used to work for the U.S. State Department, right? And he's worked for Homeland Security, and he's one of these counterterrorism experts. And he did a Washington Post op-ed not too long ago that was arguing specifically for expanding the funding and like the authority of the FBI to, work on these domestic extremism cases to include January 6th insurrectionists. He's very, very vocal about how he wants to expand the definition of terrorism to include the insurrectionists. And so you can see his political agendas, like he's wearing it on his sleeve. It's real obvious, right? Mm-hmm. He also talks about how he wants the U.S. government to intervene in social media platform policies, persuade and nudge them to kind of enact favorable policies for them. And he wants to use NGOs to do all of this. You know, he just outwardly says, like, he wants to use NGOs to identify these at-risk people and basically censor them because, the government, people don't trust the government. But really, the government doesn't have the authority to do these things, right? So he's being misleading here. The government doesn't have the authority to monitor, censor, surveil, and suppress people. So what they do is they use these NGOs to do it for them so that they can get around, a loophole and kind of circumvent their legal authority to do it.
Yeah, I was reading Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and that's basically how he explained it was, they were setting up, shell companies in other countries and running the money through the shell companies and, whatever it is that they want to do to topple other governments and create economic problems for foreign nations. But they do it under the guise of, a corporation of some sort. I think he was working for the NSA, if I'm not mistaken, in that book.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a really large, complex situation. Later on in that thread that you just saw the video on, there's a woman named Erin Saltman, who's part of this thing called Moonshot CVE, which pioneered the Google redirect method. And that's something that was actually exposed a while back. And this is the Twitter version of Google redirect. And what Google redirect did was it determined what terrorists were looking for online. And when it was designed, at its inception, it was geared towards ISIS, right? Which I don't think any of us really care that we're trying to stop people from falling down ISIS rabbit holes. That seems to me harder to argue against, right? Mm-hmm. But in fact, these things we're seeing on Twitter have already been implemented in all these other social media platforms. And so what they're doing is when you search for something on Google, like how to join ISIS, right? It's not going to, it's the search results that it shows you, they're going to be targeted towards these almost like bait and switch. Sometimes they're like bait and switch videos on YouTube, bait and switch websites that kind of make you think you're clicking on something to help you in your path towards radicalization, but it actually de-radicalizes you. It's actually stuff that was set up by the state to kind of step you down off of that ledge. But when they've expanded this now to the Manosphere, it's gotten actually absurd, right? Because now it's like if you, instead of showing you a tweet from Rollo Tomassi, it's showing you that these curated podcasts that you probably heard of and didn't even know that they were state funded, right? These are this is what they call counter messaging, where they put these influencers in podcasts together, make it seem like it's a Manosphere adjacent podcast, but really they're softening those ideas and trying to kind of lead people onto a different path, which, I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with them doing that as long as they're not censoring other people to do that. if that makes sense, right? Let people decide if that's the content they want to see or not, right? There's a reason that people are attracted to the manosphere, and in particular, the more toxic areas of the manosphere. And I feel like by doing this, we're not actually addressing what's causing men to go there in the first place. What's causing men to identify as incels and causing men to kind of feel this way needs to be addressed, rather than just kind of basically throwing a blanket over it and trying to just throw a blanket over your head and lead you in a different direction. Which is deceitful. And it's a violation of the First Amendment when they're specifically targeting individuals who are just practicing their free speech.
Damn. See, you got me thinking now, because the last time I was on Fox News, I had on my Men of Order shirt, and it ain't called me back since. So now I'm thinking, like, maybe I look like a terrorist to those people in the offices at Fox News. Oh, shit. Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. This is like, obviously, this is just one specific, like I said, this is just the one specific time that I was able to find something to blast out there because, there's I think $10 to $20 million of congressional funding flowing to these NGOs every year through the DHS TVTP grant program. And I don't think that I've ever really seen one that I didn't have questions about. They're very they really do toe the line of constitutionality a lot of times. And it's a double-edged sword, because I'm not the type of person who's going to come out here and just be like, defund the entire government. We don't need them anyways. I mean, I think that we do need people, resources fighting actual terrorism, right? But when the funding is going to these like obvious, politically motivated avenues that really like who has the manosphere hurt, right? What has Pearl Davis committed a terror attack like ISIS? No, right? There's no actual funded centralized terror organization here. They're targeting a very broad spectrum of people on the internet, and this includes people. The target. I say, you would think, well, Rollo was targeted by censorship, Pearl was targeted by censorship, but their audiences are being targeted too. It's the audiences of these people who are actually being targeted. And they're trying to basically send you down an alternate pathway so that you don't, view that content. All of this kind of also feeds into what I was saying earlier about they want to use incels. They want to use this manosphere, this toxic manosphere, as a means to justify expanding the definition of terrorism to include, like you said earlier, straight white men, right? On the right of center, right? So they're using this to definitely target the right wing. That's the big picture here.
Now, in your investigation, you mentioned here Rollo, Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit Pod. So what information did you uncover? Like, why did their name appear in the report, or how did it appear in the report? I know you have a screenshot here, but is there anything to add to that?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny. So this program was called Diverting Hate. And when I originally stumbled upon this, I found their reports in a Google Drive online. They had them like connected to this website associated with them. So I started to read their reports, and I started blasting out their reports too. Here's the proof. Like, these people are writing these long-winded reports about how harmful these people are. And some of it was like so silly. You really can't help but kind of chuckle about how dumb it all seems, right? Well, as soon as I started blasting those reports, they took them offline fast. They like tried to bury it. It was like super obvious too, because a bunch of people had already seen the tweet, already had the report. They're like, what happened? It's not on their website anymore. It's like, yeah, they realized they screwed up by putting it there in the public. But the funny thing is that some of the people that were listed in that report have nothing to do with the manosphere at all. Like Samira Khan, who I kind of just like, I know her like by, through Twitter or whatever. I messaged her. I'm like, do you realize that you're in this like DHS manosphere report, basically calling you a terrorist because you tweeted about Andrew Tate one time? And she's laughing her butt off because she's like, dude, she actually is like this very geopolitical type of person. And she's like, that's what they're going to call me a terrorist about, right? I tweeted about Andrew Tate once. So those are the kind of people who they were talking about in these tweets. It's like they were really focusing on women, it seemed like, women in the manosphere. Because, and since there's not that many examples, I guess they were just really reaching hard. But I guess for any of us who, I guess if you're an outsider who doesn't know much about the manosphere and you read that, yeah, you'd probably be pretty convinced, right? But for those of us who've been in this space, and we're laughing when we read it because we're like, this is like actually so absurd to call this terrorism, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about Twitter. You're calling a tweet about Andrew Tate terrorism.
Yeah. Okay. So I had two questions that popped in my mind. I want to start right here. We gotta start conspiracy theorizing here.
Let's do it.
What if they have planted actors inside of the Manosphere?
Oh, they absolutely have done that.
Oh,
that's not a conspiracy. But go ahead.
Wait, no, go ahead. Take it from there. What do you mean?
I mean, well, yeah, well, if we're going to go conspiracy, like I can take this two different angles. One of them is that they planted these actors already via these counter messaging programs, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're already funding these people to have these podcasts that are kind of Manosphere but softer, right?
Yeah, that was my second question, but continue. Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of the first level of that, of having these kind of people who are pushing. And then, I'm not going to get too far into this, but I think eventually it will start to come out that there are other people that you probably definitely heard of who are there to either stir division or, a narrative control, trying to guide the public's interest or trying to guide the public's opinion of the Manosphere by associating it with certain things that are really bad and harmful, right? Those, like, one bad apple destroys the entire thing, right? And that's a conspiracy. However, this is something that historically the government has done over and over and over and over and over again throughout history. So it ain't new.
Uh-oh. So,
I mean, this is the Grift Report, right?
That's where we at. Okay. So it's not outside of reason to think or to conceive that some of the right-wing Manosphere influencers could be plants. Because we know we have the
I would say that is very, very likely. Yeah.
Very, very likely. You got any suspects?
Almost indisputably, yeah.
You got any suspects?
Oh, not that I'm going to air right now.
Damn.
But yeah,
I tried, y'all.
In addition to larger people, right, there's also a lot of smaller influence accounts that come and go that you might notice. I guess that a red flag, if you were to look out for these types of suspicious actors, would be that they changed their ideologies a lot over the years, right? So like they started out working at this journalist outlet that was more left, and now all of a sudden they're a neo-Nazi. That's a pretty big red flag, right? So that's just one example I could say. You could probably start looking around now and going, yeah, that is weird, right? What's up with that? Yeah, ask those questions, right? We don't have to make accusations, but we can ask those questions.
Yo. You hit the nail on the head. I got to keep BX close. This is not going to be our last conversation. Oh, man.
I can't believe that the DHS Manosphere thing just happened in December. It feels like it's been a whole year for me. I mean, I do wild stuff research-wise online. I do a lot of stuff in the child advocacy space, trying to focus on child predator networks and stuff. It's been really crazy for me, but
yeah, I saw your work.
All of this stuff kind of it's weird how all of this stuff kind of converges in strange areas, right? When it comes to especially the grooming aspect that I was talking about, how terrorists are actually grooming incels. In the incel forum, they're to an extent they're also grooming white supremacists. And now, keep in mind, these people were already white supremacists, right? They're already there. But the bad actors who may be foreign funded, we don't really know, are joining their communities and getting close and trying to gain roles at higher levels so that they can guide them towards political violence, because that's what the goal is, right? The same thing is happening with the incels. And now I'm pretty sure that every one of these people I've named in this DHS Manosphere expose tweet, all of them are aware of this. They definitely are. And so I think that the most damning thing to me is that they have, at the expense of our actual domestic safety, right? Which would be, let's actually address how people are being groomed into being mass shooters online. Who's grooming them? Can we find this person? Why don't we ever figure out who these people were talking to on the internet? That's the core, right? And the fact that they're too involved with pushing their political agendas and trying to get, bullet points for their congressional campaign and stuff like that, they're doing so at the expense of actual counterterrorism work, which bothers me a lot. Now, I do think that there are good people in counterterrorism working more on like the domestic terrorism side who do actually do the nitty gritty stuff. And it's just not as overt, right? We're just not seeing what they're actually doing, which makes it hard for us to defend them, right? Because all we can see are these like crooked NGOs with their rackets, like pilfering grant money to push out these censorship initiatives. We're not actually able to see what are they actually doing. I still hold out hope that they are doing something. I'm not completely gone yet. I like to keep out hope that there are a lot of good people, especially, and I've seen a lot of the good people because I've done a lot of the child trafficking, child advocacy, child predator networks, pedophile networks and stuff. And there are really good people in the government, FBI and stuff, who are working really hard to catch these guys and stop them, right? That does still exist. There are still good people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you can't just say every FBI agent is a mark. You can't just say there's actually some people that do good work in there.
You can, but you have to keep in mind that sowing distrust in the government is another one of the same agendas that these types of domestic and foreign actors want to see distrust in the government. And they want you to believe that everyone in the government is out to get you, because that's another like kind of strategy that they can use to radicalize people. And, the people who get radicalized, when I say radicalized, I'm not talking, this is something that was getting confused a lot when I was talking about this manosphere incel stuff. When I say radicalized, I'm not talking about how someone became an incel. Someone became an incel because of a variety of life circumstances combined with probably some of the media that they're absorbing online, right? But that's more of like just an indoctrination into like kind of a life, and it's very nuanced and has to do with their life status, right? When I say radicalized, what I mean is that now someone is taking them and exploiting that pre-existing kind of, notion that they're an incel or whatever, and they're exploiting that to push them towards political violence, right? And it's much more extreme level. So we're not talking about how someone became an incel. That's a different conversation that we should be having for sure. Right. But what we're seeing is that once they're already an incel, now they're a target for actual terrorists. And that is happening. So I would like to talk about that. I would like to have a bigger discussion about that. I would like for people to stop calling me a conspiracy theorist for saying stuff like that, because everybody in the government knows that it's true. I'm not out here trying to claim that the FBI is grooming terrorists because of XYZ. No, I mean, like, I do believe that these people are real terrorists. And I just don't know why our congressional funding isn't going towards finding out who those people are and finding ways to stop them, as opposed to taking the output of their radicalization, like let's say an incel mass shooter, right? And then using that to justify censoring the manosphere, which is what's actually happening.
That's correct.
So to me, that's atrocious. And it's, it's a waste of taxpayer money. I think that they should dissolve all of these people and give us all a refund on our taxes for it, to be honest.
Facts.
I would like to start seeing people, once these things are exposed, I would like to see the government start paying the taxpayers back.
Yeah. I would definitely enjoy that. I always said this, a couple of years tax exempt status wouldn't hurt too. Let me not pay taxes and not file and just mind my own business. But, it's wishful thinking. Of the groups that are, I forget the technology name. You said Google Divert?
Redirect, yeah.
Redirect. Okay, so the Google Redirect, are there names, podcasts that you can provide that they're redirecting people to, or is it generally just some beta cuck shit?
So Google Redirect was kind of that was like the precursor to all of this, but they do use the same, this is nuanced, but it actually comes down to they're using AI surveillance and AI data scraping to basically search for keywords that they've identified as being associated with harmful terrorist rhetoric. And some of those are really silly, like black pill. was one of their most dangerous words. So this word black pill is actually so dangerous, guys. We need to use massive AI resources to scrape Twitter to see who's looking for this word. And then we need to kind of figure out strategies to censor and suppress that word. So that's where it gets really 1984, right? Because who's actually behind these keywords? Who are the people who are actually like training this system? Because if you get the wrong person training the system, then obviously it becomes a powerful political tool, right? And so that's what I see as having happened. Now, as far as who they're diverting it to, now the diverting hate was really, if you go back to that picture that's in that main tweet, you can see, let me see if I can find it. Well, I think you have it up, but you see this image. It says, "We aim to target the Manosphere," and the pictures in there. It's Rollo Tomasi's one of them. Andrew Tate's another one, and then the other one is Right Wing Cope, which is like which is a Twitter account that makes fun of the right wing. So these people are they're honestly really dumb. And there's an arrow that says, we aim to target the Manosphere by surfacing positive male influencer. They're diverting people away from these guys and towards these other podcasts here. You can see, you've probably heard of some of them, like Man Alive, the Mankind Project. So Man Enough, that's a big one. And these podcasts are probably getting state funding to kind of participate in this program where they're de-radicalizing people who these government initiatives have identified as being terrorists. And what's even worse is that if you start to look at some of these, these Men Alive and Man Enough and stuff, a lot of them are trying to sell you things. They're selling like $1,000, programs and like retreats and manhood retreats and like books and, self-help seminars. And so it's not even like free resources. Yeah. Like this guy, he's trying to sell you stuff. So it's kind of like not really nonprofit at all, right? They're pushing you towards platforms that are absolutely for profit.
Now, when we did our research, we did a competitive analysis when we launched menofwater.com. And I remember this website, Men Alive, did come up. Male menopause. Lord have mercy. What the hell are they talking about on here? So let's find another one, right? So we have Men Alive. What was the other one you said?
I think that the bigger one was, let me see what it is. Man Enough podcast. That's a big one. Rollo had mentioned it. I forgot what the guy's name is, but he's like a huge figure. If you go to Man Enough podcast.
Yeah, I see it.
What's his name again? Justin Baldoni.
Okay.
And he basically, the Man Enough podcast exists for him to sell his book, which is called Man Enough. Yeah. And it's one of these softening, they're trying to soften what the Manosphere is about and trying to give you something that'll take you down a less toxic path. And which again, I don't have a problem. Like it's his free speech to put this content out. Right. Mm-hmm. But it should be our freedom to decide who we want to listen to. Right. We shouldn't be coerced or guided at the expense of other people. So that we're basically, there was something really spooky that one of them said. I want to find it so I could say it exactly. But they had said, I'm trying to find it. I'll paraphrase, right?
No,
they
go
said,
ahead and try to find it while I look at. I'm going to pull up this article I have right here while you try to find that. 10 influential men transcending masculine style norms, including Kid Cudi performing an address on SNL. What the fuck? Yo, fam. They are saying, Google, when you type in Rollo Tomasi or something like that, or one of these wrong keywords, they're going to send you to a website that tells you it's okay to wear a dress. Fam.
It's pretty sinister. No.
Do you see this? Do y'all see this on my screen? What? Transcending masculine style norms. Kid Cudi. See how they do the black man, y'all? Y'all see how they do the black man? They said, let's go get the black man and say, look, the black man can wear a dress, so can you, white man. This is wild. Here are 10 male celebrities who wear their masculinity on their sleeve. Oh my God, this is an article about men in dresses. Hey yo.
I've got it here. So this came from a Rand Rand Corporation report about redirect in Twitter and Google and stuff. Google redirect. Well, I only have a little snippet on my screen. I have to. It's a PDF.
So go ahead. Read some of it out to us.
Yeah, so it says social media sites such as Twitter are flagging and removing content. Oh, this is actually, I'm wrong. This is from the grant proposal for Diverting Hate. It says social media sites such as Twitter are flagging and removing content that violates their platforms. However, there's an opportunity to redesign the feeds users are operating inside of via product design and targeted digital advertising. Our research shows that providing an off-ramp for at-risk and vulnerable individuals who are engaging with incel content increases access to services which build protective factors. They love to use like really like long-winded ways of saying that they're redesigning your feed. In other words, if you search for something in the search bar, it's going to show you something else instead, right? And the more of those kind of things you engage with and follow, the algorithm will just start sending you more and more and more of that content. So instead of seeing more and more and more Manosphere content, you're seeing more and more and more McCain Institute content, which is probably even more sinister, to be honest. I mean, if you've ever looked into the McCain Institute, if you're into conspiracy rabbit holes, that's a big one. But yeah, so they're it was spooky to me to hear them say that they're redesigning your feed, right? They're targeting you. First of all, they're scraping all of your Twitter data, dumping you into these demographics that go, oh, these people are more likely to be incels because they're white, straight men who follow these specific creators. And now those people, we're going to redesign their feeds so that instead of seeing what they're searching for, they're seeing what we want them to see, which is extremely 1984 and spooky. I don't care what it's about, right? I don't understand why we can't just tell people the truth. This has been my issue with all of these kinds of little, things. They want to lie to you. They don't want you to know what's actually going on. It's kind of this like, oh, don't worry, guys. We know what we're doing. We're from the government. We're here to help. Trust us. You don't need to know what's actually going on. But if you were to tell incels what's actually going on and be like, yo, don't go to that website. It's like literally full of like terrorists like ISIS and also feds watching everything you do so that they can make arrests on you. Maybe don't go there. It's dangerous, right? Instead of kind of just sneakily trying to like work around and guide them to different locations, it's sinister, right? And you're not addressing the root cause of the problem, which is that we do have terrorists preying on our vulnerable young men and especially our vulnerable young white men. Those are very, very big targets. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and say it, right? Transgender people are targets of these same group of actors. You start to notice that you saw a big wave of white supremacy, linked mass shootings a couple years ago, right? You had the Buffalo shooting, you had all these like really anti-LGBT, neo-Nazi type stuff, right? And then all of a sudden you start seeing incels. Now there's incel shootings, right? There's now there's transgender shootings. So this isn't happening organically. This isn't just like it's not happening because they're trans. It's happening because these bad actors, these terrorists, are targeting transgender individuals, and they're vulnerable in a lot of the same ways that incels are, right?
They activating them.
Yeah,
they already
pretty
got
much.
a mental illness, so they're exploiting the fact that they got a mental illness.
Well, yeah, a lot of these studies have come out to show that incels are largely autistic, for example. And, I think that's important, right? It's important to note that, our autistic individuals are being targeted by bad actors. That's something that the public should be aware of. The fact that LGBT kids are being targeted by bad actors is something we should be aware of. That's where what we should be talking about, is how these kids' vulnerabilities are now being exploited. I think it's really important.
You got kids?
Yeah, I have a 6-year-old daughter.
Do you? Oh, that's beautiful. Tell her I said what up. Tell her Hotep Jesus said hi.
I will. It's terrifying though to be a mom and and it's having seen the stuff that these child disgusting people are doing online. It's like, really, how am I going to protect my kid?
It's tough having kids. It is. It's like, how do you protect them from everything and at the same time give them enough freedom to scratch their leg, right? And learn from their mistakes. It's a very creepy time. I agree with that. I started homeschooling my boys because I just didn't want them turning into gays. as you can see, it's been an explosion of that with kids. So I had to pull them out because there's no way the school is about to tell my kid it's okay to be gay. It's not. Not my kid. And you can do whatever you want with your kid, but don't tell my kid that shit's acceptable, because it's just not acceptable in our nation. I can't help but I have to go back. 10 influential men transcending masculine style norms, and then they got a list of men in dresses. This is what they pushing. Then they threw Billy Porter up here. There's nothing about Billy Porter that says man. Nothing about him says man. And then they got all types of. They got Jaden Smith up here. So you.
What is this from? Is this from Man Enough?
This is from manenough.com. If you go to the top and you hit read,
oh my God,
it'll take you to their blog, because that's what I wanted to see what blogs we had, to really see what's the message and put it out here. So imagine you got a son, and your son's just on his laptop, and he's growing up, and he's into girls now, and he's like types in the word masculinity or manosphere or something like that, hoping to get some sort of insight into becoming a man, and then he gets this shit.
Yeah, and you're bringing up another really good point, which is that do you think that this actually works? Like, do you think it actually works when someone's already looking for Andrew Tate, or they're already looking for Rollo Tomasi, they're looking for incel stuff, and all of a sudden they see like, oh, actually, I'm going to watch this podcast about how I should cross-dress and be more feminine. Like, obviously, this bait and switch tactics have not been proven to be successful whatsoever, because they don't work, right? And a really good example of this is that they used to do this with the neo-Nazi white supremacy stuff back before the Manosphere was the boogeyman white supremacists were. And what they were doing was they were putting out these thumbnails. Like, I could show you this YouTube page that's curated by DHS. And what they do is Google puts ads on these YouTube pages. So if you search for neo-Nazi content or white supremacy content, it pops up this video, and the thumbnail looks like you're about to watch like some like Nazi girl, oh yeah, Nazi girl. I'm going to click on that. And it's actually somebody talking about how they're a former extremist, and extremism is bad actually. And you should love everybody. And like, the criticism against that is like, how many of these like people who are already white supremacists are going to watch that and go, oh, you're right, I've changed my mind. I'm no longer a white supremacist. That did it. That's all I needed, was to see some bait and switch video by, DHS. And so it's actually ridiculous. And one of the criticisms was that also they can't really gauge this. They can't gauge how successful this is, right? There's really no way other than click-through rate, seeing how many people actually click on it. They can't actually see if those people have changed their ideas at all. And so one of the solutions for, how do we actually gauge effectivity of these campaigns was for DARPA, of course, to come in and design a tool on YouTube. So DARPA designed a tool on YouTube where, like, if you comment below a video, DARPA can then track all of your other comments on other videos and assign it an extremism score. So they can see, oh, how did this person respond? Did they respond favorably to this video? Is their comment less extreme than it was before? And that's no joke, how they're trying to gauge the effectiveness of these diversion counter messaging campaigns, which, like, sure, that's all they're using it for. Of course, definitely no other uses for that.
Exactly.
But yeah, it gets really deep and wild.
But to
when
answer
you really
your question,
look into it.
no, I don't think it works. In fact, again, coming back to when we did a competitive analysis over at menoforder.com, I came back to the guys and I told them, because I'm a marketer by trade, so we do competitive analysis before you even begin drawing out your marketing plan. And I told the guys, I'm like, do y'all realize we literally have no competition? Because when you go to Google, it's saying put on a dress. So it would be like the only website that's not telling men to put on a dress. And it was really eye-opening for me to see like Men's Health.com and some of the more legacy media outlets taking on this more. I seen one of them was telling men to wear Rihanna's underwear or shit like that. What's her brand called? I forget. Fenty. It was like men can wear panties too.
Yeah, I use her makeup. It's really nice.
Yeah, but it was like men should wear panties too. And I'm just like, is this a men's website? Like, so it's like, no, it's not going to work. And it's only going to make the content that exists outside of that more powerful and more potent. But I have another question for you. You said black pill was a key word. amongst this list of keywords, what else exists inside of that that filtration system they have that they're targeting?
Yeah, you actually read my mind because I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. And yeah, so these key words that they're using, that to me, that's more important than the curated content they're trying to push you to, because ultimately what they're doing is and this is what Google Redirect also does. This is what, so you have Google Redirect, which is kind of like the tool, right? The online native tool that does this. And then behind it, you have an organization called Moonshot. And Moonshot is an NGO that one of the key things that they do is they manage this AI surveillance machinery that builds these databases of keywords to use for to train their algorithm to recognize hate speech. And that's where things get really sinister, right? Because the people behind that training that AI, if they're biased, then the database is biased, right? Then by proxy, they're censoring people based on what the AI was trained to do. And so one of the NGOs that was associated with that, I found a website. This is really funny. You're gonna like this. But it was another NGO campaign where they basically were trying to use an AI tool to find where there were like bad words being used, like racist words being used. Okay. And then they would use this bot to comment underneath it and say, for every like this tweet gets, we're going to donate it to, the men's, I don't know, African American Men's Association or something, right? Yeah. To kind of to get these people to delete their tweets or whatever, which it sounds kind of harmless, right? That doesn't sound too bad. However, what they're doing, right? This is another part of them just training these AI surveillance machines to detect all of these words. And if you go to their website, they have this promotional video where they're like, we have stopped 8 million harmful words from showing up on Twitter, like this one. And they show a tweet with like the N word. They're like, see, we stopped all these people from seeing this on Twitter. I'm like, why would you put it on your promo video? You showed it to everybody. It was really dumb. And they also have, this is where I started to see, like, they have this like list of things like, did you know that strings of emojis can be used to express hate? And it would be like a lamp or something. And it'll be like, this means you're part of the KKK. And you're like, what? What does that even mean?
You're teaching me and shit.
Yeah. But also it's just like, what do you, like, some of the stuff was so ridiculous. Like they redefined words. Like there was a thing where it showed cuck. Right, we all kind of know what cuck is, a cuckold, like a man who watches his wife get railed, right? Yeah. Well, they had redefined the word cuck to mean a man who's inadequate due to his lack of racist or extremist views. So these cucks over here redefining the word to make it seem like if you're called a cuck, it just means you're not a racist. Wait, guys. Don't worry. It's in one of my threads about this. It's actually super funny. So that was called Love Not Hate, but it was connected to Moonshot because they're using the Moonshot database to do this. But they're also important because they were the ones who were responsible for getting these. I'm trying to find this for you, but they were responsible for getting these, platforms and they get like former extremists, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, like literal neo-Nazis who have been turned into it, like been busted at Charlottesville or something. And now they have to like correct their ways so they look better to the court. That's something you see very commonly. And now they're getting paid by these NGOs to participate in think tanks where they come up with these words that could mean hate. And it's easy to see how bad actors could just get in there and troll people, right?
Yeah.
And so that's actually how they're actively building these databases off very suspicious kind of sources. I'm trying to find this now because you'll get a kick out of it if I show you the cuck thing.
Please do. And ladies and gentlemen, if you got a question for BX, we're gonna go ahead and get those handled. Just hit the super, drop us some cash with the super, and we'll read your question before she heads out. We're about to land a plane here soon. I do have Moonshot on the screen. This is pretty wild. You're going to pull up the document with the cuckold, but it's definitely some 1984 shit.
Well, it was a website, and again, like I made the mistake of showing it on stream one time, forgetting that their video actually just drops the N-bomb at like the very beginning. I'm like, why would you do that to me, man? I'm on Twitch.
Now you're one of
the like, extremists. I swear it's a counterterrorism website. I promise. Like, but yeah, that tweet that I just sent you, it's that's where it shows that from there's a lot more. I mean, like the emojis.
Oh wow, look at this. Look at this, y'all.
And the quotation is specifically from their website.
Inadequate man due to lack of racist and extremist views.
I laugh so hard at that kid.
Cuck equals inadequate man due to lack of racist. Wow.
Imagine just a bitter man, a bitter cuck who was tired of being called a cuck, so he decided to just use this NGO with state funding to like redefine it so that he could feel better about being called it.
Yeah. Wow, this is some straight up 1984 shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely just redefining words. Yeah.
Damn. Let me go to this.
Your tax dollars paid for this, by the way.
Yeah, they did, and they continue to pay for it. And more budget being put aside for this. Mr. Anonymous says, "BX is a beast. Get him. Thank you for the $5 super. Yeah, she's a monster. And I mean that in the nicest way possible." Steph Colonel, thank you for the $10 super. The Manosphere is being scapegoated to justify government overreach. People who subscribe to the Manosphere don't have a terrorist bone in their body. They'll probably off themselves before others. Lord Jesus. Steph Colonel.
Hotep.
I mean, it's sad because like these incels are very, very susceptible to suicide ideation as well, right? Mm-hmm. They don't need to be studied like lab rats and used to censor the Manosphere. They actually need help, like actual resources, not dumb bait and switch stuff that's just meant to push a left-wing political agenda.
Yeah. Hold on. Leon 008, thank you for the $10 super. He says, incels are blue pill. They just want to be loved. Most people don't truly want to understand how the world works. Black pill is watching the end of Margin Call. It's knowing why Obama made 2008 deal. Yeah, I can probably agree with that on many different levels. So
yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But incels, right? Like they start out as, just there's always been sexless men or men who have a trouble finding mate. That's every part of the animal kingdom has had that forever, right?
Right.
It's only recently that they've been given an identity and clumped into these these communities where they're pushed these really harmful ideas like the black pill, right? Like saying there's no hope, guys, just lay down and rot and give up because they want you to give up. They want you to like, I'll be honest, they want you to kill yourself. They want incels to die. I've seen it with my own eyes. Them pushing the same people pushing them to become mass shooters are pushing them to kill themselves, or pushing mass shooting as an alternative to suicide. Yep. It's very dark, and it's abhorrent, and we need to address that as a society.
Before we go, where can we find that list of keywords?
I don't have it. I have to go search for it and find it.
Get it for me.
It's
at some later point, and I will share it. DM it to me when you find it. I'll share it on another stream. But that's super important. Basically, for me, I just want to know what keywords to
Here's the
avoid.
website. Here's okay, that database. Now that's what I think. Now, okay. I'll send you this because this has some of the emojis and stuff. It's in their video, the one that has the N-word, so don't play it on stream.
Okay.
Yeah. Counter extremism, by the way. But also, the actual database words are something that I'm interested in. However, they didn't actually disclose all of their database words, and I would like them to, which is why I was encouraging Manosphere creators like Rollo Tomasi, I don't know, Andrew Tate, but, Andrew Tate, the Whatever podcast, Fresh and Fit, all of them were named in this report. And in my opinion, they were targeted by the government. Their First Amendment right was attacked in a government funded capacity, and they should sue. They should try to get a Freedom of Information Act request on those diverting hate people to try to see exactly what was in that report. And when they deny the FOIA, which they will, then they can actually sue the Biden administration over it. And I really think that's what they need to do in order to stop this from happening. You have to hold the government accountable. I can't do that. I can only show you what's happening. It's up to you to take the next step and realize that you've been bamboozled by the government and that there are actually outlets, there are things that you can do to remediate that. But they have to do it, right? And it might not, a lot of them don't take it seriously enough because like I said, it's goofy and you're laughing about it. And you're like, this is silly and dumb, right? But at the same time, it's very serious because this is indicative of a much greater problem, a big harm that's being caused, not just to the Manosphere, but to all types of individuals, the entire right wing. I mean, you think that it's white, straight men today, but tomorrow it could be somebody completely different. Could be you, right? Depending on just like the way the tides turn with political situations.
Yeah.
And so I do think that they need to take it seriously and hold the government accountable for possibly costing them revenue. They could have cost them money, you know?
Yeah. It's costing me a lot. I mean, I want to say since last year at some point, all growth on all my social media channels has completely ceased and come to a complete close. So I'm at the point now where I'm just going to contact an attorney and get my FOI request and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, anybody in the Manosphere, right? Because like all we could see here are the public facing reports.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you weren't targeted by this or a similar initiative. It just means that we didn't see it in the report that they accidentally made public and then removed immediately after they got blasted.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is BX on X. She's on X. If you go to her X profile, you will see her Beacons link. It'll take you to all her links, and you can follow her on various social networks. BX, thank you for a great conversation. I feel vindicated. I come on here and I spew all my conspiracy theories. Sometimes I don't have the evidence, and then you came in and you were just like dumped the entire barrel on us. Like, here's your evidence. So
yeah,
really
it's silly because
that.
It's like I don't have any attachment to the Manosphere or whatever, but I'm just like this random woman online. You're welcome, I guess.
You are a hero now.
Yeah, people, that's so funny. Like, I really don't have any attachment to the Manosphere. I just want to see the government start straightening out. I just want to expose these things when I can and try to, push for transparency. And yeah, you can follow me on BX_on_X. And like you said, that there's a link in my bio. You can buy my art, there are a lot of ways to support the stuff I do. Yeah.
What kind of art? Painting?
Yeah, I do like spacescapes and stuff.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah,
you did that with your hands?
Yeah, there's a video of me making
computers?
it online. No, this is me. I did it so you can even see the kind of the texture on it. But I use an airbrush
in your hand. Oh, airbrush.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do most of it with a paintbrush or with a hair dryer or with but I do the space stuff with the with the airbrush.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Because it's 2024, so everybody's creating shit with Photoshop and AI. So that's why I had to ask.
You'll never be able to actually make human art. I have this theory that like human made art will actually be even more important to certain people, right? Because art's always been in the eye of the beholder. There's always definitely been an innate value to art. So I don't think that AI will take over that fast.
No, I don't think so either. I completely agree. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, go check me out on X. Right now I'm on some really crazy satanic pedophile arc, which is actually legitimately real and it's terrifying. So
we're gonna bring you back for that too. When you finish your investigating on that, let me know. We're gonna bring you back on here so you can tell us all about that weird shit.
There's already been arrests. So we're doing good. Yeah. But yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, put together some bullet points that you want to cover, and we'll bring you right back on the show.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, This is BX on X, and I'll be right back after this short, brief commercial break. And we're going to take phone calls. Text HOTEP in your name to 202-596-5631. Text HOTEP in your name to 202-596-5631. I want to hear from you guys some of your conspiracy theories surrounding what we covered today during our discourse. I'll be right back.
Envision a sanctuary where community and sustainability are the cornerstones of living. In this haven, every family is able to grow their own food, children flourish through homeschooling tailored to unlock their full potential, and education extends beyond textbooks, instilling self-worth and a deep understanding of the world around them. Here, goodwill isn't just an ideal, it's the essence of daily life, where respect for law and order harmonizes with the community's resourcefulness. This place isn't just a dream, it's a call to action for everyone who believes in a better, more connected way of living. Join us in building a future where each individual's contributions create a tapestry of enduring harmony and prosperity. Join us in Hotepistan.
Man, this is one of those times where I feel vindicated. We don't get Goldstein in here. Goldstein, call in. I feel vindicated. Yeah, the people in the chat even suspected it. Let me check on my chatters. What up, Rumble? I see you. I'm checking out Rumble. We got Goldstein calling. Let's see what Goldstein got to say.
Call from Murphy's Law Rescue.
Happy Moon Day, Goldstein. Welcome to the show.
What's happening?
What's up, man? How you feeling?
Happy Moon Day.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Well, Monday is named after the moon.
Ah, yes. Okay.
It's actually Moon Day, and to back that up, in Spanish, the term for Monday is lunes, as in lunar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, where they get the fucking term lunatics.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Moon worshippers.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of Miss BX in our conversation today?
That was a great show.
Thank you.
I was highly impressed by the young lady.
Yes, I was. Same.
It was like watching a real life motherfucking investigator from one of them shows on fucking ABC.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was like a real life Bones, which is not the same field.
Yep.
That was all right there.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I was telling you earlier, find a way to incorporate her services into the Hotepistan fold.
Oh, you better believe it. You better believe we keeping her close. We gonna need her to do some investigations for real. That's facts.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the fucking lighting, I was like, "Do I really want to fucking listen to this?" when
she got the Twitch, the Twitch gamer thing going on.
I've developed a natural aversion to that shit over the past maybe 3 or 4 years. Where if I see that set up, I'm like, you know what? Do I really want to listen to this? But I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Jazzy in the chat, he says this is all the Fed's fault for debasing our currency and driving women out of the home into the workforce. Facts. You know, the real eye-opening thing for me today, as if I needed my eyes opened anymore, was when she said there are actors within the Manosphere on the right wing who are designed to degrade, embarrass, delegitimize the Manosphere.
Yes.
And isn't that something we've said on the show a bunch of times? Like, yo, this dude's a Fed, that's a op, da-da-da-da.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the same shit they use over and over. The playbook ain't that extensive for them. The plays are very complex. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Plays are very complex, but the playbook isn't really extensive. There's no variety of plays they run. The same way they infiltrated women with the feminist movement, the same way they infiltrated the Black Panther movement, same way they infiltrated the Weathermen, same way they infiltrate every subversive group or group that they deem to be subversive is always the fucking same. And when you start ranging up into the millions of views in any type of school of thought, here comes the motherfucking insurgents. Because they already see that it's an influential aspect, that they're either there to exploit how they can utilize it, profit off of it, or how they can use it to be subversive to political thought.
Yep.
But they send the same motherfucking team every time.
Every single time.
And Manosphere ain't immune to that shit. You guys just hit the radar. Now you got to deal with that shit. The best way possible to keep that shit from happening is you got to treat every motherfucking body as a potential insurgent until proven otherwise. This is why I say certain people.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is why I say certain people can't be in little leadership position, because they'll use those infallibilities as a way to fucking move in motherfuckers who they see as a more controllable asset. Like, say, for instance, I'm a motherfucking felon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say, for instance, I start to gain a little traction as somebody that someone listens to,
Yep.
along the lines of a fucking Andrew Tate type motherfucker.
Okay.
They will fucking jump on that right there quicker than anything. Right? That right there is all they need, is the fact that I'm a felon. So now they can sneak subversives in through that motherfucking lane. And if the person that they're working on ain't about shit, they'll fucking capitulate. Be like, listen, you know, we have this on you. Then that person will be like, all right, just give me the script from here on out.
Right. Right.
You can almost see that shit happen in real time, depending on how big of a scandal a person gets caught in too. You can see that like with Alex Jones. Like he gets caught up in all that fucking Sandy Hook shit, and all of a sudden this dude is the face of the new operation.
Reading from the script.
Reading from the script. Here's your script. Now each line will fucking knock off like $50
off your fine.
Yeah. Each line, you just go ahead and, you know, they give them fucking they probably mark that shit out like a contract in the NFL too. If you hit certain motherfucking milestones, you get bonuses and some more shit.
You get a little bit more oxygen.
Yeah.
Damn.
Pearl, one of them motherfuckers. I've often suspected of Myron being one of them motherfuckers just because Myron was one of them motherfuckers before Myron was a Manosphere motherfucker. So, you know, that was an easy one. That was a layup.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, what did you say when I hit the horns? I want to come back to that point. You said, damn. Do you remember?
I can't recall.
What did he say when I hit the horns? Damn, hold on, it's gonna come to me. Hold on, I gotta do my little magic memory trick. We was talking about the ops, and he brought up a great point. Damn. Thank you, Hotep Dutch. You said treat all like they're insurgents.
Yes.
Okay. That comes back to my previous statement where I said, you know, like, you know, somebody comes into, you know, let's say just, you know, being a conservative, right? Or red, white, or whatever. And then, you know, they talk a whole bunch of talking points and everybody's like, yay, our new hero. And then they get 1 million followers, right? Because they just stick to the script, right? Talk the talking points. And that's how you get feds, you know, in your side, because you just know that he's following the script and affirming your bias. But I like what you said is it's sort of the opposite of what I said, but they are intertwined, where you say, trust no one until they give you a reason to be trusted. And I think that's a very great outlook on all of this. And I think that's how the right should operate. Just because somebody pops up out of nowhere saying everything you love, you got to look at him like, all right, look at this Fed until he's proven that he's not a Fed otherwise.
Yeah, because it serves two purposes. One, it puts the necessary motherfucker through the fire to see if they're worth any goddamn thing, right?
Right. They got to prove themselves. Correct.
Right. Then two, it makes for an environment whereby feds don't feel comfortable to operate.
Right.
That's the main thing, is that if they know that everybody's watching and everybody's on some shit in this motherfucking arena, they're not going to be too quick to go up in there operating. And if they do, it's going to be so subtle and so hands off that it's probably not going to matter.
Right.
They're just in there gathering information.
Yep. Yeah. So many great lessons came out of today. I'm glad you caught that interview, because I was thinking about you throughout the whole thing. Pause. You know, just because of the fact that she was pointing out the insurgents, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, man. Anything else to add before we go to Strong Dad?
Vote for me on these motherfucking grifties, because if I don't crack the top 20, I'm whooping all y'all asses.
Yeah, I heard what he said. Go to grifties.com and vote for Goldstein. I didn't slip from my spot, so vote for me too. Go to go to grifties.com, vote for Goldstein and Jesus, please. Please go vote for us. Hey, man, appreciate the call, man. Great insight as always.
Yeah, Hotep and Bill, man.
Hotep and Bill. Let's get Strong Dad in here. Let's talk to Strong Dad. My phone is blowing up. I got a million things going on. I cannot keep up. It's absolute mess. It's a mess in here. Let's get Strong Dad in here. Strong Dad, call in. Oh, that's what I meant to check. I meant to check my my Cash Appers. Give a shout out to my Cash Appers that don't make me split with Google. Shout out to Khalid Cooper, Haram Life. Appreciate you.
Call from
Strong Dad.
Make sure you gotta check out the Haram Life podcast. Strong Dad, what's happening, bro?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Not much, hanging in there, man. What's going on in your world, man?
Good.
What'd you think of today's stream?
Well, you asked, do we feel vindicated? First of all, I feel vindicated, but I also kind of feel annoyed.
Okay.
Because, man, I just got so fed up with, just how people would treat the opinions that we would have of this shit. Like, we've been saying
what
this
do you mean?
for a really long time.
You mean like when we were pointing this out and people had pushback? When we
were pointing this out and we were getting that pushback, you know what I'm saying? Even I remember when the Grift Report was just jumping onto a Rumble. As a matter of fact, I think I remember the day. It was the day that we were discussing the Charleston White clip where you got the Hotep brother clip at.
Okay.
On that day, I called in and called these Manosphere niggas feds. I was like, these dudes are. I pretty much said what she said in kind of a more layman's, obviously, take because she's, pretty eloquent in the delivery of all these things. But I said the same thing, and I got a lot of pushback. And I'm sick of saying Strong Dad's been told you. I've been saying that when we had the conversation with fucking Rolo, all that shit he said, you guys could probably track a call where I said that shit already. I'm sick of this. You got to be stupid to not have seen this shit before.
Who the feds?
Or to not even see.
Who the feds? Who's on your suspect list? Let's get messy.
Suspect list is obviously, Myron and them niggas, right?
Damn, Fresh and Fit is on the list? Damn.
They're on my list. They're on my list.
They on the DHS list and Strong Dad list. Okay, who else you got?
They're facts, 100% controlled opposition. So Myron and them, the Whatever podcast.
The Whatever podcast too?
All them niggas, come on.
Oh, wow.
What's that? You remember Pearl, of course. You remember that one video where that nigga was like, we were talking about that one nigga who was like, if you get hit indoor, you know what I'm saying? He was like, if you get beat indoor. I forgot the name of that fool. What is this fool's name? He's like a Mexican cat. I think he was on the Whatever podcast, and they were like, what if she cheats on you? You know what I'm saying? He was like, there was like excommunication all day, and she was like, so what about domestic violence? And he was like, indoor. That dude. I think you remember?
Yes. I don't know his name, but I remember that clip.
Remember.
The chat will know. Chat, what's his name that he talking about? I remember that clip.
Yeah, facts. I feel like there's some controlled opposition. There's some Hotep adjacent who I feel like are also controlled opposition. When I look at some of the people who we've identified as potential feds, I notice that a lot of us all follow some of these people. And I think that there's some, but obviously it's harder to penetrate
Modern Life Dating John. That's MLD. Oh, you said MLD? Oh shit. Damn, shots fired.
Yeah, that motherfucker. Fact. You know what I'm saying? That dude's got a funky rap sheet. Here's the thing. The only reason I just have my ears are up to this was because of the protest. The feds put a nigga, in our protest to do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So this doesn't surprise me. This doesn't surprise me at all. I think they also do it to black content. Also, I think that they, all these relationship niggas. I feel like that's even that content. They throttle everything else. They throttle wholesome black women, wholesome black niggas, and they just push this relationship crap. This fucking niggas hating black women. All that shit. That's all controlled. They everywhere. They got their fingers in pause. They got their fingers in everything. They're all up in the Kool-Aid, the peanut butter, your whole fucking pantry. So this shit shouldn't surprise you. You know what I'm saying? It's never surprised me. You know what I'm saying? I'm an ex-convict. I operate life like I'm being watched because I am being watched.
Correct.
That's just what it is.
Correct.
So I don't know, man. I just feel like where we're at is good. I'm not worried about the insurgents who try to touch us because it don't
work in Hotep Nation.
Divert it. It doesn't fucking work.
Because everybody in Hotep Nation's looking at the next motherfucker like, is he a Fed? Is he a Fed?
Right. And you know what? That's almost like that Fight Club thing. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
We just gotta keep it moving, y'all. I'm with it. I'm cool.
Yeah. How about the fact that I went to that website and they had them niggas in dresses and they was like, here's a different take on masculinity. That shit was crazy.
Yo, right? And how long black men been saying that shit? We've been saying that shit forever. We've been saying that shit forever. And they always put out some nigga who wore a dress to be like, oh, see, y'all just don't understand art. This is art. We do art. Nigga, shut your bitch ass up. Boy, you motherfucking pantyhose wearing ass nigga. You was on the screen dressed like a woman with a white dude over your back, acting like he was about to hit it for comedy. I don't want to hear a damn thing you got to say, my nigga.
Yeah, that's a no-go.
Nothing. You're decertified, 100%. So that's how it is, man.
I just got a Fed troll here. This is Jay. I'm going to look at the picture here. It looks like a AI rendered woman. The account is Wretched Saint, Architect Gamer. I don't know who this is, but I typed in, I said, check your camp for ops before you check outside your camp. The ones in your camp are more dangerous. And this op account says, are these gang terms? They could be, but these are actually military terms.
Yeah, facts.
And so basically what this is like race baiting. This is like race bait. Can I piss off the black guy by being, fake dog whistle racist? And it's just like, actually, you kind of just showed how uneducated you are, because I was thinking about this from a military perspective and not from a gang perspective. But it just goes to show how, it just exposes their POV on life and how myopic it is.
Exactly. Also, I feel like, when she was talking about some of the other communities that are targeted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a Hotep, Goldstein, and Strong's dad that told you for that one, because she said even the trans niggas is getting targeted to be extremists. And what did I say? I think they're, they might not be next on the list, but they're on the list.
Right.
They are on the list. Yes. You know what I'm saying? These fools got mental illnesses. They are the easiest people. You think just because, like, I think about like me, Rudy, and Goldstein, right? We've been through some shit. We were locked up long enough that there's some guaranteed trauma. We would think that the ray gun is going to affect us. The way that we have absorbed that trauma and used it to transform our lives is probably one of the reasons why the ray gun is not going to be as good of an effect as it is one of these crazy motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to put that in the universe, but I'm just saying you got to think about that. I think about that. So
yeah.
These people are crazy. They're fucking crazy.
Well, it is what it is.
Black guns matter.
Yeah. It is what it is. I appreciate the insight. About to get Steph on the line here, man. Hotep and Bill, bro.
Do it. Steph and Bill.
That was Strong Dad on the check-in, spokesman for menoforder.com. Make sure y'all check out menoforder.com for all things men. Real men, not men in dresses. I feel like that's got to be a part of our mission statement or something like that. Like when we advertise this product, I've been using the term, I said, designed for active men, real men, right? Now it's like real men and men who don't wear dresses. Like this thing is constantly evolving as to how we convey product messaging. Apex and Flow in stock now. In fact, how much do we got left? I might have to send some materials back over there. Let's take a look. We got 125 Apex bottles left. How much Flow? I might have to restock 120 Flow. So make sure y'all go over there and whoops, what did I just do? I don't even know what I just hit. Make sure y'all go over there. Use the coupon code in the description box below. Or is this? Oh, because I never set this screen. Okay. Use the discount code in the description box below. Grift Report. If you want to support Strong Dad, menofwater.com/StrongDad, and he'll get paid for you using his link. Let's get Steph Colonel here on the line.
Call from
Steph Colonel.
Steph, what's happening, man?
Yo, what's good?
What's good with him? What's good with him?
Hey, nothing much. First of all, fire show today. First of all, I'm glad I'm able to catch it because now I got new hours, so I can barely catch the Grift Report now. But I'm gonna catch it some way. Put it like that.
Okay. I hope you got a make a coupon code, no dresses. Oh, I like that. I love that idea.
No dresses.
Coupon
That's
code,
fire,
no
right?
dresses. I like that. That's genius. Thank you, Kay. She just texted that to me. Hopefully your new hours
Use
came with...
that for some new Men of Order merch.
Absolutely. Men don't wear dresses. That's
a big fact.
That would be fire. I'm just wondering how Shopify would feel about that. Anyway, what you got for us today?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a little. I don't know if this is a little cynical take or whatnot, but because now I remember I told you in my super chat, I feel like this is a justification for government overreach, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they're getting the attention of the feds, are the feds getting distracted? Because if you think about it, like their content is so garbage and it's so elementary. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's for you to even get the attention of, I guess, a federal government, or for them to make it seem like these people are like super wild out there. It just seems crazy to me.
Well,
is our federal government stupid?
Well, let's think about it and assume that the government is smart, right? So let's say you've implanted an operative within the Manosphere. Well, how do you legitimize that operative? You put him on your own list of terrorists. And then people go, oh, he can't be an operative. He can't be controlled opposition because he's on the list.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it makes them being an operative trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you take a movement, Manosphere, right? You take your agent, and you plant him inside the movement. Now, people inside the movement, some are going to be like, some are going to be trusting, some are going to be untrusting, right? So then what you do is you take that agent and you put him on your terror watch list so that people go, look, he can be trusted because the feds say he's an enemy. So in a way, it legitimizes them by putting them on the list along with others. This is like 5D chess they playing here.
Right. Like I see it for what it is. I definitely see the game being played. But just like I said, I don't. People like us, we don't tend to like legitimize these types of people. So if the feds are on them, that's kind of good for us. That's how I look at it. Y'all stay away from us. We good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. Hey, chat, be careful of the guy Brian Nichols in the chat. He's definitely the ops. He's definitely a Fed. That's for sure.
I've been wanting him to call in for a minute, man.
He won't call in. He won't call in.
He needs to call into the show, man.
He can't call in because he's too busy fucking in 20 different chats trying to be a op. You see what I'm saying?
He's in different chats?
If he's an op, right? He's probably in Rolo's chat or somebody else's chat. He's chatting on different accounts right now, right? Like he's working for the feds. He's not a real person.
Brian, don't say nothing crazy, man, because let me tell you something. That block button going to itch, and I don't hit it unless it's you really got to get under my skin and hit the block button, bro. Don't hit that block button.
Yeah.
Totally right.
Yeah. So, chat, be careful. We got ops. The ops and feds is in the chat, and they'll say shit to, like, distract you and run cover for other feds. So beware. But Brian Nichols is definitely on my suspected fed list. That's facts.
They watching us. You know what I'm saying? They watching us. They definitely watch us for sure. But like I said, if they ain't making us out to be the example, and they keeping the people we already know to be like that, and the people that sell the bullshit that content, I'm all happy with it. In a way, I am. And like I said, I see the play for what it is and how it's some bullshit because if you're effectively trying to create or redefine what a quote terrorist is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, now honestly, I'm just waiting to see how long it's going to take for a quote domestic attack because they've been priming the narrative for a while now. So you're going to see some shit happen where they're going to find out that he had someone from the Manosphere in their web history, in their YouTube history, and they might have referenced them in a quote manifesto, stuff like that. So that's going to happen. It's coming. I would say in 4 months or so. Give it about 4 months.
4 months?
Yeah, I'd say 4 months. I might even take the under on that.
All right. I like that. Yeah,
I might take the under on that. Give it 4 months and watch what happens. Your red pill Manosphere boogeyman is going to be divine.
I can't wait.
Yeah, man. All right, that's all I got, bro. Hotep and build, and shout out to everybody. And listen, Fed, fuck you. Matter of fact, let me go off for a second.
Okay.
Fuck this. This is the opinions of Hotep Jesus and Hotep Nation at large. Let me put the disclaimer out first because I'm about to go off. Feds, fuck you. I don't want to pay no fucking taxes. I'm sick and tired of paying fucking $40,000 and $50,000 of fucking taxes every year for you motherfuckers to sit up here and label American citizens as terrorists, and you do everything, and you write all these laws to criminalize everyday, hardworking American citizens. Fuck y'all and go to hell. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Hi, yo, Hotep and Bill. See you next week.
And we'll see you at the Grifties, bro.
Yes, sir. Oh man, they going off on the feds in the chat. Larry Ducour said, just ordered Flow. Hey man, welcome to the Men of Order family. Flow is I gotta be honest with you, Flow is one of those products that initially I thought would be the one that you felt the effects of most because it's dealing with your brain, right? And everything in your life is revolving around your brain. And I thought that Apex, we would get complaints about Apex not feeling it. That's why I was like, nah, I got to be on Apex. But two very great products. Flow, I love. I got back on Flow recently because, my memory is just not as sharp as it was when I'm on it. So, I'm a few days straight now. After skipping a few days, over the past couple of weeks, I haven't been consistent for the past couple of weeks, and I definitely see the difference. Apex it just turns you into a fucking monster. It's just I can't even begin to describe the benefits of having your testosterone stabilized. Yeah. We got there's ops in the chat. I'm gonna call them out when I see them. Really, the best term is detractors. They come from various communities. They might even come from other influencer communities that don't like me. So they'll come over here and they'll say things to detract and distract the chat, et cetera, et cetera. So I put them on blast. So when y'all come in here next time, you can just hit them with the Fed, hit them with the police emoji. Matter of fact, police emojis if you think Brian Nichols is a Fed. Hit police emojis in the chat if you think he's a Fed. I just want to make sure that, you know, we know that they know we know who they are. Because why come to a stream and just always detract, right? Because you're a detractor. That's what you're designed to do. Retro Neon says, also vote for me too so I can put these old heads to rest. $5 super from Retro Neon. Thank you. Appreciate you. Hotep and Bill to Retro and Neon. He is also up on grifties.com. Famo said he ain't coming back after that. He ain't coming back? He ran? I see the police emojis in the chat. What up? What up, Lauren? Steph? Strong Dad? Yeah. What time is it? 3:38? All right. Let's dive into something really fast. We got a little bit of time here. Let's dive into something really fast and take a look at a timeline squabble. I like that. Timeline squabble. So, let's go here. Let's pull this up on your screen. King Randall, you know, has been doing great work. Last week, he put out his video, or a week ago, I forget what it was, teaching young men how to handle themselves during a traffic stop. And he got a lot of pushback from many different communities. One of them was the amazing Lucas, a.k.a. Spider-Man. King Randall responded to his clip here. He said, so I didn't actually watch his video until today. I didn't watch the other day because I've met him in person a few years ago and I thought he was cool as hell and just disagreed, which is fine, but it's borderline. What's the best way to avoid police, Amazing Lucas? So let's play this video from Amazing Lucas in response to the work by King Randall.
He comes out and says, strike three for me. I think we've already passed strike three. But then he goes on and says, hey, well, the best way, you want to know the best way to not deal with officers is not commit a crime.
And of course, the best way to not have to interact with the police is what? Not break the law, right? Yes, sir. Don't be speeding, put your seatbelt on. Don't be riding with your cell phone in your hand.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Pimping, that is strike 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What are you doing?
I don't exactly see what was wrong with what was said, because sometimes you could be completely innocent in the right and you might be on your phone or you don't have your seatbelt on, and that's a cause for police to pull you over. I thought that was great advice. Let's continue.
King Randall, okay, what are you doing? You're not teaching these boys to be kings. You teaching them to act like peasants. A king doesn't act like that. A king does not brainwash your children into being slaves. That's not what a king does. The best way to avoid officers is to not do a crime. Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Lord, this is the problem with many of these right-leaning individuals. Their hearts are in the right direction, but on certain cases, such as law enforcement, they lose their mind. They lose it. Would you tell that to the people of 1776? Y'all love the country. Y'all want to celebrate Independence Day. Well, what happened if those people, right, they had the same mind about the British? Well, I'm just going to do what they say. I'm just going to do what they say. I don't want any problem. What the country was founded off of not bootlicking. And here you are. Do you understand? As much y'all love your presidents and everything in this history, these people would be turning in their graves to know that you are teaching children to be slaves of the state. That is asinine. You should be ashamed of yourself, King Randall.
Okay. Bit of a reach there. Retro Neon, thank you for the super. He says Amazing Lucas is an op. Is he? Leon says Amazing Lucas is a Fed. He used to love Trump, then jumped ship and went liberal. He is still not enough leftist for me. All right, here's my issue as I read the chat. Those are two different classes. Handling yourself at a traffic stop is a different class than knowing your rights and how to affirm them, right? Those are two completely different classes, two completely different subjects, and they deserve a separate workshop. And that workshop is probably too intensive for a 10-minute video. Like, that is a 3-hour workshop, okay? Now, could you highlight some points for a 10-minute video, 5-minute? Absolutely, I think you can, and it should be done. But I think that's a separate class and not exactly what we're dealing with here. Now, let's go down the rabbit hole of this discourse between these two individuals, King Randall and Amazing Lucas. Of course, I bookmarked every single last one, and of course it doesn't pop up in here. Okay, there's got to be a better way to search this. Okay, I know what I'll do. I'll go to King Randall, and then I'll find it from here. Okay. Okay, let's go. Okay, here we go. So all right. All right, so we got a whole blog post from Amazing Lucas here. There isn't a foolproof way to avoid encounters with the law enforcement, emphasizing the inherent power dynamic. King Randall did say that. He was like, you're not going to be able to, do that, but we are trying to limit it. Police officers, as agents of the state, wield significant authority and can initiate contact with individuals without justification. While, and that fact check true. While promoting respect towards law enforcement is important, it's equally vital to educate individuals about their rights within the framework of our nation's laws, which our forebearers fought to establish. Who uses the term forebearers? What? Forebearers? That's like when motherfuckers use the term democracy. Forebearers? Like, who are you targeting with that word, Amazing Lucas? Fought to establish. Blaming citizens alone perpetuates a troubling trend towards a police state, as officers are not constitutionally mandated to ensure our protection. That's true. The officers are not constitutionally mandated. In fact, police are just there to protect property. Referencing pivotal moments like 1776. How the fuck we get this is all right, this is the parallel I failed to follow. I couldn't follow his line of thought here. We're talking about 2024 traffic stop, and he's talking about 1776 versus the British. Like, that leap is so huge, I don't even want to sit here and use brain power to dissect it. There's no reason for me to even try and waste time to dissect that. How do you make that leap from, yo, I'm in the car, I'm listening to New Ye, and I just got pulled over? 1776, motherfucker. Like, what? Like, oh man, like, grab your musket. The revolution is here. I just got pulled over by the police. Where's my musket? What? Referencing pivotal moments like 1776 underscores the importance of understanding one's rights as enshrined in our nation's history. The perspective you introduce to these young black youth contradicts the mindset that led to the founding of our nation. What the fuck does black youth and the who is his target market for this rhetoric? What? The perspective you introduce to these young black youth contradicts the mindset that led to the founding. The founding of our nation didn't give a fuck about black youth. What are you talking about? Without embracing such ideals, we would still be ensnared in the chains. Nah, hold up, time out. Who wrote this shit for him? Who wrote this shit? ChatGPT didn't write this. Grok did not write this. Who wrote this? maybe Lucas is an op because he's writing like an op. Like this sounds like some straight up politically trained shit. Amazing Lucas, what the fuck are you talking about, nigga? What the fuck are you on? You on some bullshit. I never thought I'd come to say this because you used to be one of my favorite people, but now I'm starting to notice you on some bullshit. Ensnared in the chains. What? Nobody even talks like that. These words haven't been used since 1776. 1776. It's reminiscent of the anti-black rhetoric employed by certain white conservatives who unfairly criticize black victims of police brutality. Wait, what? What? Without embracing such ideals, we would still be ensnared in the chains. Black folks was in chains in 1776. It's reminiscent of the anti-black rhetoric from white conservatives. Oh, I see what he's saying. So white conservatives will say, oh, you know, you shouldn't have been acting up and talking back to the police officer to justify, you know, the killing or, you know, somebody being slain by police. And I get what he's saying there because, you know, black man gets pulled over. He start yapping off at the mouth. Cops pull out, they shoot him or whatever happens, right? And, you know, some people do respond like that. You know, you shouldn't have been yapping off at the mouth. Now, I don't publicly express that on every instance, but the thought crosses my mind, right? Like, kid got pulled over, the shit escalated, and now the cops got him on the ground and then all this shit. And I always say to myself, like, nigga, why was you wilding? You could have just shut the fuck up. And you would have been home. And we wouldn't have your name on a t-shirt. And we wouldn't have to say it. I think that in my head. Now, I wouldn't express that publicly because it might, you know, vindicate the police officer from his wrongdoing, because the police officer is a lot of times acting out of fear, acting out of racial bias created by the media, right? In his head, he thinks that black people are thugs because that's how the media has portrayed us for decades. So in his head, black equals dangerous, and he's terrified when he pulls you over, right? So I understand why he does it, but it does not make him wrong. What I prefer to do is, my rhetoric is publicly is, my family goes out to the family. My heart goes out to the family and, you know, everybody affected by this death, right? Like, I really want to spread love. I don't want to do the whole, well, that nigga shouldn't have said nothing, because it really doesn't help much. So I get what Ludacris Lucas is saying here. That's his new name, Ludacris Lucas. My words may be harsh, but so is the truth. I appreciate your work in the community and wish you the best, my guy. No disrespect, man. Okay, so King Randall says, nobody's denying any of that. My question is, how exactly is me saying don't break the law to minimize your chance of interacting with police a problem? Sure, police can interact with you without justification, but not breaking the law is a way to avoid it. Right. We're trying to minimize the circumstances, the instances of interactions with the police. Mason Lucas says, of course, the best way to not have the issue with this statement is that it implies anyone interacting with the police has broken the law. Wait, what? No, that's not. What? No, that's not what he's saying. That's what? That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting right there. That's not what he's saying. You've implied it to mean something completely different than the way the rest of us have interpreted this. It suggests that anyone in cuffs is guilty and anyone behind bars was in the wrong. What? How do you make these leaps? I think I got to classify Amazing Lucas as one of those people I cannot debate. I can't debate him because he's just going to frustrate me the entire time with these gaslighting leaps and bounds of saying things that I did not say. So that's not what King Randall is saying here. Avoiding breaking the law is not a foolproof way to avoid encounters with the police. That's the essence. That's why it's crucial to know your rights when engaging with them. He didn't say it was foolproof. This is gaslighting. This is a tweet full of gaslighting. King Randall says, no, it's saying that most traffic stop interactions with the police are indeed because of a law being broken. I said, don't speed, don't be your phone, etc. All of these are great rules to not get pulled over by police. Can you still be pulled over? Absolutely. I said in the caption and in the video that bad things can happen even if you do this all the time. Yeah, he did say that. He definitely said that. Oh, my God. Damn. The fuck happened to Amazing Lucas? Did I ever tell y'all the story about when I met Amazing Lucas? So this was when I got invited out to, I think it was Arizona. And this was when I first got introduced to TPUSA, and they wanted to start up their little Blexit thing or whatever it was, Black Youth Leadership Summit. So they called all the Negro Wranglers, and I ended up on the list. And they invited me out. They flew me out, put me up in a hotel, and it was me, ABL, Leo Dunson, Brandon Tatum was running the program with Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was there. Who else? The Hayes brothers, David Harris was there, and a bunch of others. And I was on this side, and Lucas was on the other side. And now it's got me thinking like maybe he was an op. Maybe he was a left-wing operative at the time. Maybe, because we were in the meeting, and the meeting was, the tables were put together in like a U shape, and Candace was to my right. And we're all chilling, just, absorbing what it is that she's saying about what TPUSA wants to do. And I remember Amazing Lucas jumping up and being like, didn't you have a doxing website? And he was just going off. And I remember being on the other side like, yo, chill. Yo, let me get my check from the RNC before you wild out. Whatever. So we all sort of calmed him down, and me and him had a great talk that night. Later on, after we all went to the club and hung out and shit, and we had a great time. But I thought Lucas was cool, man. And now it's just like, is he a leftist op? Is that what I'm witnessing here? I hope not. This is all getting spooky now, man. Jay Pylon says, we all know what King Randall's point was when teaching the young boys. All the nitpicking Lucas did is unnecessary. Yeah. Dutch says, agent provocateur. He trying to get a grifty? Damn. Feds hiring anyone nowadays? He won't debate without a script in his hand. Shit is really weird, y'all. We really gotta, we gotta follow Goldstein's rule, man. Assume they are a Fed until proven otherwise. Until otherwise. I'm just checking my timeline really fast here. I just don't understand how anyone could find. Well, I can understand, because when I first watched King Randall's video, I think it popped on my Instagram feed. I watched the whole video, and I remember saying to myself, like, somebody's not going to like this. They're going to find something wrong with this. And I think maybe because it was just black man, black kids, police officer, right? I'm like, this is just going to cause a lot of drama because of all of the backstories and events that have transpired between black boys, black men, and police officers. So I was just like, oh, this is going to be, but I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't entertain the thought. It was just like one of those things where you look at something, you have an initial reaction, and then you sort of dismiss the thought. You don't think anything of it. Then later on, you see all the backlash, and you're like, damn, they really did get mad. Why? like, chill the fuck out. Like, where's your work? What are you doing to make the country better? What are you doing to make your neighborhood better, to make the people in your community better? You know what we're doing? We got the investment group. If I want to get in on the investing conversations, join the Telegram. The link is in the description box below. We talk all things investing in there. So make sure you hit that Telegram link. Also, waiting room for Super DAP, where we're going to take Hotepistan into the cryptoverse so that everybody can eat, right? It's key right there. Everybody eat. Leon 008 says, $2 super, thank you. He says, he is a black woman that want to be right. Oh, man, here we go. Cat set the tone? Ain't that about a bitch? Cat set the tone. Now, everybody just got to find something wrong and exposing somebody. I never really want to be that person that exposes people. I like exposing ideas, concepts, and systems. And if somebody gets caught in the crossfire, then, you know, so be it. But, you know, I like exposing the plot. Like we did today. The plot was exposed. You know, as far as the Manosphere is concerned, where they got, you know, Google redirecting traffic from, you know, certain keywords to blogs that say men can wear dresses, right? And then also her, BX, confirming that, in fact, there could be a right-wing presence of operatives. Now, I asked her to name some, and she would not. Clever girl, and she should not. You know, but she, you know, the fact that she wouldn't name names, y'all got to start thinking now, like, well, who could she have meant, right? But everybody is a suspect. Everybody that you named is a suspect. Bonzik said HJ is a kingmaker. Am I? And people have said that before, you know, I'm a kingmaker. And it's funny because a lot of people think that, you know, if you come on here, the next stop is Joe Rogan. It's really weird. You know, because it's just really weird people do that. Like, but that is true. There are a lot of people that people hit me up and said, yo, that was the best interview I've ever had. And, you know, if I can do that for people, great. But I wouldn't exactly call myself a kingmaker. But if you guys think I am, then, you know, that's fucking great, too. Follow the money. Yeah. Who y'all think in the right wing Manosphere is a Fed op? Let me see some names in the chat. Who you think is a Fed op? Maybe top 3, top 1. Maybe one sticks out most to you where, without a question, they're a Fed. Who do you say? Holding my nuts, pause, says, HJ is suspicious. What were you doing in Starbucks? Oh, yeah, you got me, man. You got me, yo. I'm definitely a Fed. You put on the right minds at the right time. Yeah, I think that's true. I definitely have this impeccable timing. Wow. Andrew Tate? Wow. Nick Fuentes? Tim Pool? Ben Shapiro? Dom Lucre? You think Dom works for the feds? Wow. Fresh and Fit? Pearly? Coach Greg Adams? Wow. Really? Whatever podcast. Steph Colonel said Fresh and Fit peaked when they had me on. Aiden Ross. Hotep Jesus. I gotta say, if I'm on a list, I feel special. I gotta tell you, Mario Norfall. There's actually, you know, like videos about people talking about how Mario Norfall scammed them. So that might not be too far off. I don't know. I can't either confirm nor deny. Yeah, I was trying to figure out why Coach Greg Adams. What Coach Greg Adams do to be considered a Fed? Uncle Hotep? Uncle Hotep's definitely a suspect. Coach Red Pill guy? Yes, I definitely think he was an op. Absolutely. I definitely think he was an op. Especially after our last interview. I Show Speed? Nah, I don't think so. Kai Cenat? No, Kai's just a fucking, he's just a young kid. I'm telling you right now, if I was Kai Cenat's age in 2024, I would be Kai Cenat. When I see Kai Cenat, I see a younger version of me. I was wild like that too. I would have been just streaming for 8 hours straight, just looking at crazy shit on the internet and reacting. That definitely would have been me. You know? Yeah, Strong Dad, absolutely. Shannon Sharp? Cerno? Maybe. Simon Atiba? Yo, Simon Atiba did some real wild shit. I remember some black chick, remember we covered that? Some black chick said something and he gaslit the shit out of her. And I was just like, wow, I follow Simon. And I thought he's just one of those breaking news people who you know, steal news and then act like they're breaking it. But yeah, it was kind of wild. Yeah, I think yeah, Kai gets bad rap. Nah, Kai is cool. I think Kai is cool. Kai is just a kid who's just really fucking entertaining, really brilliant at streaming. I think he gets it, right? DJ Vlad, yeah, that's kind of old news. He's always been a suspected op. Well, I don't know. Some of the names y'all name, I think the most plausible one to make a case for it might be Andrew Tate, maybe. And people are suspecting him because, you know, he had this huge growth in all of his accounts. I don't know. I can't say one way or another, but, you know, maybe he was put there to discredit. I don't know. Kai was getting upset at the All-Star Celebrity Game because no one passing the ball. Yeah, that's some shit a little kid will be mad about. Exactly. Yeah. Lives at TikTok? Yeah, maybe. Cat Turd did some weird shit the other day. I think they was in on the race grift, and I was just like, y'all told me Cat Turd was cool. Crowder? Tucker? Piers Morgan? I don't know. A lot of these people aren't like super Manosphere though. These are just like media people. But, you know, I'm speaking specifically Manosphere. I don't know, man. Keep your head on the swivel. Keep your head on the swivel. You never know who around you is an op, who around you is a Fed. You never know. What's Rumble talking about here? Victor said, I don't get the Tate thing. Seems like he capitalized off frustration a Bugatti can't cure. Yeah, I think argument could be made for Andrew Tate on both sides. Why he is a Fed and why he's not. I think arguments can be made on both sides. Yeah, I would just say, you know, the one thing I would say about Andrew Tate is, you know, don't let people make you feel bad for not driving, you know, 12 Bugattis and having this, you know, mansion, because some people got super paid off of being e-pimps. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, so don't be an e-pimp, first of all. Don't do that. I would not suggest being an e-pimp. But if you made your money off of being an e-pimp, I would not suggest people compare their life journey to somebody else who was an e-pimp. I just wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Whether you think that stuff is right or wrong is, you know, not a part of the conversation. But just don't try and compare yourself to everybody on the internet, because some people want to do anything for money. And I think we need to keep our morals and dignity intact and get that slow money. You know what I mean? Slow money better than no money. and it lasts longer. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about going to jail and shit. Strong Dad is a Fed. Chad a Fed. Chad's definitely a Fed. We've already identified Chad as a Fed. Tariq Nasheed. Yeah. E-pimping was your real estate strategy. If you love Hotep's Been Told You, we're going to be back tonight at 10 p.m. You can subscribe at patreon.com/Hotep's Been Told You and get a dosage of that. A little extra dosage of Hotep's Been Told You. We'll be back live tonight, 10 p.m. Chess lessons start at 8 p.m. Kick.com/Hotep Jesus. Jabari said, we're not going to talk about the great man, Jacob Rothschild, who passed away. Something a detractor would say. Somebody asked me for my opinion on the whole Jacob Rothschild. They're like, I can't wait to hear what Hotep Jesus says about this. And it's just like, he's dead. I don't know. What should we do? Like throw a party? Jacob Rothschild. Let's see. What was his cause of death? First of all, if we want to get conspiracy theory, today's an 8 day. 8 is the number of wealth, and he dies on an 8 day. 2 + 6 = 8. So that is interesting, right? What else is here? Where's his cause of death? Have they updated it? Let me check Google. Jacob Rothschild. Was it just natural causes? Did they just heart give out or some shit like that? So his family said he's dead. He'll be buried in accordance with Jewish custom in a small family ceremony, and there'll be a memorial later today. I think in the Jewish faith, they don't do autopsies either. So, that is what it is. But yeah, like, I don't know, like, what am I supposed to say about, him dying? He's dead. There's not much to, and that's weird. Sometimes y'all be asking me my opinion. Y'all be like, oh, I can't wait until he weighs in on this. And I'll be looking at it like, damn, I hope I don't disappoint y'all, because I ain't got shit to say about that. Like, some things is just like, I just don't give a fuck about. It's just like, I don't want to just make up something to talk about. I hate when people do that. Just try and like squeeze something out of this that's not there. Yeah, definitely Mr. Burns. He does remind me of Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. The Rothschilds have been exposed. They've moved their op to something way more covert. Yeah. 87, they must have bumped him off. Bloodlines pass at 100 years old. Yeah. No, he's not the 100-year-old Rothschild. The guy's dead. What else more is there to say? Yeah. Like, I guess I could have done a presentation on, the Rothschild family, but I just feel like it's so overdone, right? Like, everybody's done the Rothschild conspiracy theory. Here's what they did, the banking. But like, who doesn't know about that stuff? To me, it's kind of banal. Signal of the banking collapse could be. That's an interesting take. It could be. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. People have been speculating there's a banking collapse coming. I don't know how true that is, but I pretty much expect that at this point. It'll be consolidation under the big three. I think what's that? Bank of America, Citi, or is it National City? And then at the top is JPM. Yeah. It's been done too many times. I gotta stick to stuff that's lesser known. That's what I like to cover. Stuff that's lesser known or stuff that's just like super interesting to me, right? Like I'm like, oh shit, I gotta talk about this. You know, also like, you know, things I try to cover on this show is like, how do we look at this and create a lesson out of this? What's to be learned, you know, from this thing that happened? You know, Bitcoin nearing 55K. Hotep's been told you. Hotep's been told you. That means sis is pumping. Sis is pumping. Sis on his way to 16 cents. I told y'all to buy sis back when it was six. It's at 16 cents. I apologize. Just updated. Bitcoin at 54,000. Oh my gosh. Oh. Crazy. So yeah, Hotep's been told you to cop this sis. You should have got sis when it was 11 cents. But you know, here we are. My bags are up. My bags are up. I just have little bags. I don't have big bags. Little bags, you know, just something light. Take care of 1 month's rent or something like that. But yeah, man, that's all I got. I'll be back tomorrow for the Grift Report, 2 p.m. Till then, be well, stay merry. Tell somebody in your family that you love them. And as always, Hotep and build.
Envision a sanctuary where community and sustainability are the cornerstones of living. In this haven, every family is able to grow their own food, children flourish through homeschooling tailored to unlock their full potential, and education extends beyond textbooks, instilling self-worth and a deep understanding of the world around them. Here, goodwill isn't just an ideal, it's the essence of daily life, where respect for law and order harmonizes with the community's resourcefulness. This place isn't just a dream, it's a call to action for everyone who believes in a better, more connected way of living. Join us in building a future where each individual's contributions create a tapestry of enduring harmony and prosperity. Join us in Hotepistan,